Hello, start of another week. So today is Monday, or week commencing Monday 26th of October 2020 of course. So last week I didn't do a full week in life. This week I'll go back to doing it because I got a few other videos done last week. Yeah, so fuel price for the week, my UK fuel shell card, which is the one I've had for months, the only one I've ever had. Fuel price this week 93.14. My new BWOC card, BWOC BWOC, that is 88.82 pence per litre. It's obviously pre-VAT, both of them. Obviously you can see it's substantially cheaper, 5p when you take into account the VAT. So they've sent me my fuel price for the week. They've sent me my PIN for my new card. They haven't actually sent me the actual card, so I'm still using UK fuel cards this week, sadly, unless it comes this week and I manage to go home during the week, which could happen, and I might be able to pick it up and use it. So that's my fuel price for the week. So it's now 3:45. I started a bit late this morning because I was at home, so I kind of settled on the fact that, I'm away sleeping in the van a lot all week. If I feel like having a bit of a lazy one on a Monday, I tend to do it and have a bit of a lie and make sure I've rested for the week, because it is knackering. By the end of last week, I didn't realise how tired I was by Friday, and I just slept loads on the weekend. So I don't think I was sleeping that great in the van last week. It's getting a bit colder. I think I was sleeping right, just maybe not very getting much quality rest. Yeah, so I did a job this week, about 4 miles from home. Didn't realise when I bid on it, but it's a shipper and a pickup that I've done twice before. So when it came through, the shipper sent it through without calling, which is always a bit naughty of them, but yeah, it came through and I hadn't got anything else, so I went and did it. That was only 47 quid, but it was 4 miles from home. How many miles was it? It's 61 miles, so 65 miles all in for 47 quid. It's in that it was a small van job. It's in that sort of distance wise where really long jobs work out well based on pence per mile. Minimum price jobs work out well when there's small, low mileage. And then there's that kind of like ground in between where jobs don't really work out great, to be honest. But it got me to the northwest, which is, I think, is quite a good area. Got me going for the week. From there I did another small van job. Picked up a job that was from a printers. It was some signs, like curtain side material type signs, to a marketing company or advertising company from a printers. And from there I picked up a job from Runcorn. So that was in Northwich. Picked up a job from Runcorn over to Warrington, which is where I am now, and that was just 2 small items, picking up from the shipper the same day company's premises. Turns out it was just an office in like an office block, so obviously a shipper who doesn't have their own vehicles or anything. Quite a big one. They'd done jobs from before. And that was just taking them to a private address. Apparently it was the guy's business partner he was in business partner for the same day shipper. So dropped that off, and I'm now sat M62 services junction 8. The feed's a bit quiet, but yeah, my pence per mile is really good so far. So I got 35 quid for that last job, and it was like 20 something miles. So yeah, 25 miles. But obviously I need to earn more money. This is the problem with short jobs, especially when it's quiet. You kind of need a good job each day to make the money. So still hopeful of getting a decent job. And I did just have a notification, so I better check that one. Right, filming while driving, which obviously means one thing with me, pretty much stationary traffic. So it's alright to film, in my view. Yes, I was sat in Warrington, just off the M62. My hope was, to be honest, that I'd get quite quite often there's COVID jobs in the evening, I've noticed now. A fair few from Liverpool. Just kind of hoping one of them would come up and I'd get it, because I've done quite well out of the northwest doing COVID samples. And sure enough, I bid on quite a few jobs while I was there, without winning anything. Then a job popped up. It said a COVID job, small van COVID job, from Wilmslow, a hospital in Wilmslow area, down to London. But it's a different lab in London to one I've done before. Normally it's WC1H, this is WC1E, which isn't a million miles away obviously, but it's slightly further into the congestion zone. But I'm still going to park outside and walk in. That's my plan anyway. And this is with actually a different courier, one I've not done COVID samples for before, not even sure. They're quite a big one, courier, I'm not sure I've done a job for them before, maybe a long time ago. So currently sat in traffic where the M6 joins the M42 south. Looks like it was a 20 odd minute delay because of a crash. I could see the time going up, you know, my ETA on Google Maps just going up and up and up. Knew something had gone wrong, and this is it, obviously. Yeah, and while I was just loaded this job, I checked the feed, not that I have a co-load, and I couldn't understand it. There's another job on from the same courier picking up from Wilmslow, and it was the same hospital, but going to Coventry, and that said hospital job, COVID samples as well. So I think, kind of thinking, like, why didn't they put these two on the same job? You know, this could have been like drop off in Coventry on the way down. Probably avoided this traffic if I went that way. It made me think why, because I've got 3 samples. Totally stopped now. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm getting paid £149 to take them. 196 miles. I quoted it from where I was, which is about 20 miles or 20 odd miles away from the pickup, at 68 pence a mile all the way through. But loaded miles, it's actually about 77 pence a mile. This is a small van job. So it's a lot of money. You know, assuming the government's going to be paying for this. So why didn't they just put the drop in Coventry on the way, pick them all up, drop Coventry, drop London? So either they're really urgent and there's no time for 2 drops, or maybe the courier's thinking, well, get 2 jobs on that, make a percentage on each one, more money. So happy to get a job, but as a taxpayer you got to think, what the hell's going on there? So I'm not going to get down there now until just before 9. I'll see if I can get a job at Central, you never know. If not, I'll just be probably getting a McDonald's on my walk back from the lab. I know which one to stop at, I've been there before. Yeah, and get out of town, try and pick up a job in the morning. Not sure where I'll perch for the morning, probably towards Heathrow, but yeah, I'll see about that when I get down there. So yeah, I thought I'd film this now, so faffing about once I finish this evening. So that is almost certainly when Monday done. Right, Tuesday afternoon now, 2:45. So yeah, I tipped that job in London, and as I thought, it was a bit more into the congestion zone. I still walked it, about a 10-minute walk, and where I parked up wasn't as far east on the Euston Road, so it was quite good because I kind of avoided this traffic, which is around where they're doing, I think it's down to the fact they're doing HS2 a bit further east. So where I parked, yeah, 10-minute walk, dropped it off, different lab, like I say again. Quite interesting actually, because I dropped it off like the reception hatch, and you could see into the lab and all these people walking around in white coats and all this fancy equipment doing all the tests. That's quite interesting. And on my stroll back to the van, I know there's a McDonald's there, I've been there before when I delivered to some student blocks, building materials ages ago on the Euston Road. Went to some McDonald's on the way back, sat in the van, had my McDonald's, nothing pinged up. It was gone 10 about this time. I decided in the end just to go to my usual tramping spot, which is in a town called Stanwell, just south of Heathrow, just because, didn't want to try and reinvent the wheel at that time at night. So headed there, got to bed just after 11, got up about gone 7, managed to pick up a job from London W4, which is actually quite easy to get to, because even though it's W4, it might be more central than it was. It's just off the M4 really, and it's still, I think the M4 is much better than the A40, which comes off the M40. You can get further into London on a better road. So I had to head back there, pick up, and then to Bristol, which is where I am now, sent to Bristol BS2. I've moved around the corner, or down the road to the Tesco. Only thing was, I accepted that job at 8:30. It wasn't picking up until 9:45, 9:45, but it was alright because it gave me time to go to Tesco, get myself a meal deal, get a coffee, have my breakfast, just generally get some stuff done. And this was it was actually down as a car job, so I priced it all the way through at 68p a mile, including like 15-16 miles getting there. I got the job, so I was a bit surprised to get it. I think it's just the fact that it was a little bit in the future. Sometimes less people go for them because they want a job now. So you can sometimes get slightly better rates by waiting a bit. And I was just keen to get a job to get out of London, because I've struggled in the last few weeks to get out of London quite often. And I thought Bristol's a decent place. But the pickup for this turned out to be a bit of a pain in the arse, to be honest. So I got there 5 minutes early, so I got there 20 to 10. Went in, and it was one of these like shared office spaces, co-working places. And there was a girl in reception, a lady from the company I was picking up from. She says, "Oh, sorry, the guy, he's got the keys for the office, he's not in till 10. So I said, "Okay, I'll come back at 10. I was parked on single yellow, so I just went sat in a van, made sure nobody turned up and clocked the van. Went back in at 10. She'd gone from reception area. So I had to buzz at them, and then they says, "Oh yeah, we'll be down in two minutes." Didn't hear anything from them for like another 15 minutes, and then got to 10:15. I was just about to ring the shipper to say, "Right, that's half an hour now, we're into waiting time." And as I was just about to ring, guy comes down and says, "Oh, sorry mate, sorry to keep you waiting. They should have been ready, and they're not. They're going to be 2 more minutes." And then another guy turned up with them. So it was like 35 minutes waiting, so I can't really complain about that. Just a bit of a pain. Straightforward drive over here. Some crappy weather. Tip to some I think it was a legal company in it was just 4 A4 envelopes full of documents. Some legal company over here. I think it was a legal company. Some office block place, similar kind of place really. And then I sat in BS2. There's a few jobs coming up in Bristol, didn't get any. And then after an hour and having my lunch, sat outside on yellows again. Obviously I was in the van, so if I saw somebody I'd just shoot off. Nothing doing, so I've moved out of town to a Tesco Extra, just a perch here, closer to the motorway getting out of Bristol. But the problem is, it's gone really, really quiet now. So I've set my home area to here with alerts. I should be getting alerts for Bristol area for today and tomorrow, or any time in the future. And I'm getting the notifications from like Cardiff, Gloucester, over towards Swindon Way, and I'm getting very, very few. So I think it's just very quiet today, which Tuesdays and Wednesdays I think are the quietest days. So yeah, just the one job so far, 84 quid. Hopefully I get another. Yeah, so yesterday was above target, 231 I did. And with yesterday, even with the 18 miles getting to my perching spot, it was like 72p a mile, so I did quite well yesterday, but over target in good rate. Today, obviously it's more like 68, probably just below that now, pence per mile, and only 84 quid so far. There's a Bristol BS4, so I better check that one out, see if I can earn some more money. Right, quick update because I've got to get going. Still Tuesday, 9 o'clock, so yeah, I was sat at Tesco's, picked up a job at 3:30. It's down as a medium wheelbase job, but it didn't have any of the like load details. So what I did was I put in there, if it's slow and I've got time, I sometimes do this. Bid on a medium wheelbase job, but I'll put in my load length, height, and max weight. And then they sent the job through. I got the job. It's only like 15 miles getting there, 7 miles getting there, 7 miles doing the job. So it was a bit more, about 15 miles all in. So I went in at 40 quid, even though it was medium wheelbase, and they just sent it over. So then I'm thinking, have they seen what, my van dimensions load area? So I had to ring them and confirm them it was the right one. And then they said, yeah, that's all fine. So I went and picked it up. It's from a transport company. It turned out to be quite a heavy load. It said some from a transport company, and it was like a half pallet, but it was like ballast for solar panels mainly, and a few boxes on top. And it was all on this small pallet. It was like think of a UK pallet, 1.2 by 1 metre, but it was like 1.2 by half a metre. It was like a half pallet that way. And the legs, the bottom bits, there's one on the edge, and the other one wasn't quite on the edge. It was a bit like lopsided. So I put it in the van, strapped it down, and as soon as I went around the corner, I heard a bit of a gentle thud in the back, and it had fallen over, but not fully. So I had to strap the load down a bit again. Did think about going back and saying this pallet's crap, can we do something about it? But no, I just restrapped it, and then had a very, very steady tentative drive across Bristol, through the middle of Bristol to the university, or a university area, the other side of town. Very, very slow getting there, just really taking my time on the corners. And when I got there, it wasn't a full address, so I had a bit of a faff there, and then I eventually found it. It was a building site. They're modifying one of the buildings by the looks of it. And then by the time I found it, because they'd only put partial address, it was just like the name of the builder and the street basically. Eventually found it, and the guy in the gate was like, oh, I'm not supposed to really take it, and we're all going home soon. It was a bit like, I might have to send you away and come back tomorrow. And I had to move the van around the back, got there, and eventually all the guys handballed it off. The guy didn't want to sign for it, but I says, just sign for it as one pallet, unchecked. So I need a signature off somebody. He was a bit funny, this guy. He was alright, but a bit funny. Eventually got it done. It was just one of them jobs, that bit of a nightmare, and I really didn't want to take it back because it was a bit of a crap pallet. Every now and then you get a load that just causes loads of issues. That was one of them. So got that done. It was about 5:15 by the time I'd done that. So time-wise, it didn't work out very well. An hour and 3/4 for 40 quid. That included getting there to pick up. But it was like 40 quid for 15 miles, so rate-wise is really good. So I've sat around here, had another Chinese, finally got round to replying to a load of YouTube comments on the video. So thanks for your comments. Sometimes I don't get a chance to get to them for quite a while. And when I do, it's really hard to go through my feed. It's considering YouTube so popular. The actual user interface, hopefully I've not missed any, but I probably have. Apologies if I have. And then I thought that was it for the day, but then a job pinged up, picking up in Cardiff, which is about 50 minutes from me, dropping in Birmingham in the morning. So what I'm going to do, shoot over to Cardiff now, hopefully get loaded pretty quick, to home, quick shower, bed, but I've got to be out the door early because I've got to be like the other side of Birmingham for 7, but at least I do get to stay in my bed. So it's one of them ones, once I bid on it, and I thought, do I really want it? Because I'm probably only going to get 6 hours in bed, even though it's my own bed. But it's extra money. So yeah, I'm doing it. So that's a quick update, even though it's this little bit's almost 5 minutes already. So I've got to shoot off now, get this job done. I'll update tomorrow. I'll probably be in the West Mid somewhere. Yep, in the West Mid somewhere. To be more precise, Birmingham Airport, the sort of cargo area. So yeah, shot over to Bristol yesterday, about 55 minutes an hour to get there, picking up from one of the big international parcel companies. There's only the security guard there at that time of night, which is strange because I thought you'd think they'd be sorting parcels and stuff, but maybe it wasn't that kind of place. So picked up from there, from the security guard, set off home. Certainly wasn't doing 56 mile an hour last night. Keen to get home and get to bed. We give the van a bit more of a tanking than I normally do, a bit of a hammering, not crazy like, but by my standards. And then everything was on the motorways. Quite often that time of night they're doing maintenance, so the M4 was actually shut. But for me, luckily, it was shut at the junction with the M5, so I managed to dodge that bullet. But then heading north on the M5, it was shut from junction 5 to 4A, with 5 being Droitwich, where I normally come off if I'm doing Amazon from Droitwich. So I had to go A38 and back on the M5. Yeah. Obviously, I understand that motorways have to have maintenance and stuff. I used to work in maintenance myself, I understand that. But the thing is, yesterday you come off and they've put a diversion route in, going via this A38 mainly, and then there's roadworks on that as well, like 4-way control at a junction. It's like, surely don't do them both at the same time, but anyway, don't want to waste too much. So I didn't get home until about 12:30, in bed really quickly, pretty much straight to bed. 5 hours in bed. Up this morning, quick shower, so fully fresh on a Wednesday, which is nice. Quickly put some breakfast in a tub. I did that last night. Shot down here to the airport, got it off because I had to be here, and it said that things cannot be late, because it's probably got going out on a certain plane, isn't it? It has to be here for a certain time. Apparently on the label it said it's looked at some kind of medical package, and it's going to Berlin, Germany. Obviously on a very, very big hurry up. So yeah, dropped that. I'm just sat here now. A few jobs, been pretty slow up until now, about 5 to 8. Until all them will just come through, so I need to check. So hopefully have a decent day. So with that job yesterday, that was 107 quid, which was 65 pence a mile from where I was in Bristol to Cardiff, and then Cardiff to here, but obviously didn't come here. I went via home, which added a bit extra miles. So it's 107 quid for 121 loaded miles, small van job. So it's a good rate, but it's obviously an evening job. Don't really know what to quote in an evening, but you got far less competition. So got that off. So I'm just sat here now. Hopefully have a good day. So with that 107, that made yesterday 231 quid, so above target of 200. Exactly the same as I earned on Monday. So I'm on 462 at the moment after 2 days, which is pretty good. And actually worked out my mileage rate from yesterday. It's better than I thought. It was about 72.5 pence a mile all in, from starting in London to getting here. Actually, not just to home, but including this morning, because I count this as yesterday's job. We're actually dropping at 7. So early start now. Hopefully, it'd be nice to get a job quick sharp now, and then have another good day. But yeah, so far so good this week. Some longest days. Right, 4:30 now, and I'm on the south coast. So did that drop off this morning, which was kind of like yesterday's job at 7. Popped down the road to Morrison's, got my meal deal for the day. Yet another meal deal. Didn't have to wait long there in the car park. Maybe 10 minutes. It was probably an hour since I dropped the last one. Was it longer? It's probably more like, it's actually about 9 o'clock by the time I got this job, I think. Because I had my breakfast while I was waiting and stuff. And it was a short wheelbase job, but I was 22 miles from it, and it was 72 miles. So I went in at 64, something like that. I'll put it in the summary. I priced it basically at 68p a mile, including getting there, because it was picking up in Lichfield down to Cheltenham. I didn't think I'd get it because I was like 40 minutes away, and I've priced in getting there 20 odd miles when it's quite a short job anyway. Anyway, phone rang, got it, managed to shave 3 miles off on the way there. So instead of 22, it was 19. And Google actually did me a favour this time. The quickest route wasn't 72 miles, it's 64 miles. That shaved 8 miles off. That's 11 miles off. So instead of working out 68p a mile, actually worked out 78p a mile. So that's pretty good. Yeah, and it's picking up from like one of the big national suppliers of kitchens and joinery stuff. You can go there and they've got, you know, design place, and you design your kitchen and they fit it and stuff. It's one of the bigger ones in the country. And it's just taking doors, 7 internal doors, quite heavy they were, so oak veneer apparently, so I reckon they're like 35k each maybe. From the Lichfield branch to the Cheltenham branch. Loading is a bit strange, like the guy's like, yeah, I'll just go and get them for you, mate. It was quite cold outside, so I was sat in a van. So I spoke to the guy at the trade counter. 15 minutes goes by, there's no sign of these doors. Go back into the trade counter, he's not there. So then I walked around to like the roller shutter doors that are open, thinking, right, not that I'm going to nag them, but sometimes I find it's worthwhile making yourself harder to ignore. As soon as I stand there, guy goes, "Oh, are you the guy here for the doors?" Yeah, mate. He said, "I'll grab them for you now." 2 minutes later, got the doors. If I hadn't gone to the roller shutters, I might have been sat there another 15 minutes or more, you know. Got them loaded. The other side was really easy. The guy helped, just took them off me straight away. So I was in Cheltenham. There's a fair few jobs coming up from there. Bid on a few. I had 2 bids out. One from Tewkesbury up the road to Leeds, a short wheelbase job, which is the one I really wanted. And I had a bid out on one from 4 miles from where I was in Cheltenham to the south coast, where I am now, and that's the one I got. And that was picking up from their premises, but it was a proper shipper premises this time. You know, it was like a smaller unit, storage unit with some rigid trucks, 18 tonners and stuff on the yard. Yeah, and it's just a small box, like really light, no weight to it whatsoever, sat in the front with me. And that was coming down to here, Worthing. I priced this 70p a mile straight through, including them 4 miles, even though it was a short, small van job. Got it. Didn't bother faffing around because it was a bit of a wild trip down. Check this out! Just stopped to have my meal deal lunch, my Morrison's salad bowl. Quite nice actually. Crazy thunderstorm. This is the road that goes from like Gloucester, Cheltenham way over the top, big climb up the hill, and then over to Swindon. It's thunder and lightning and hail. Crazy weather. Yeah, absolutely crazy storm. So from Cheltenham, if you know the road, you kind of have to go up onto the Cotswolds, and you go up this steep hill. There's always trucks struggling to get up there and like crawling at like 10 mile an hour. To the top roundabout, turn sharp right, and then you're kind of heading towards, I forget what the road's called. You know, nice day, it's really nice views from up there. Down towards Swindon way. And that was where I was parked up there. I parked up to have my lunch because it was hail and stuff. I thought I'll just pull over, wait for this to clear. Yeah, and there's a proper storm, and there's like heavy rain all the way down and flooding most of the way. Down here, tipped at 4. It was just to like a technology company, international technology company. Yeah, so I'm tipped here now. Like I say, it's 4:30. Pretty tired now because obviously I didn't get much sleep last night. Even though I was at home, I had 5 hours in bed. So if I get a job, I'm not too bothered now. So I'm on 160 something for the day. But I was 62 quid ahead of schedule by the end of this morning's job, which I say is just kind of yesterday's job. So it's not the end of the world if I only do 160 today. I might just chill out here, mong out for a bit, get myself some chips, get an early night and get up and try and get a good job. I'm not far from Brighton here. When I saw it, I thought it was like Southampton, Bournemouth way, Worthing, but it's actually quite a bit further east than that. Quite like 15 minutes from Brighton. Yeah, so I might do another job tonight, but if I do, I'll have to watch my tiredness levels. But yeah, let's see what happens. Got to say, very quickly, just probably not of interest, but just when I sat in that storm and I pulled away from that lay-by, we're still actually lashing it down. On the radio, I was listening to Jeremy Vine's show, but it's Vanessa Feltz, and she was talking to a nun in a monastery in Arundel. Don't think I've ever heard of Arundel before. Never been there. And guess where I drove through on the way here? A couple of hours later, Arundel. And then I pulled up at this tech company's address. And on Radio 6, for some reason, they're talking about, I think it's William Faraday. Faraday's a guy who, Faraday cage, invented a motor and generator and stuff. I'm sat on Faraday Close. So just a bit of a strange radio coincidences going on today. Thought I'd share that for you. So that's a minute of your life you won't get back. Right, Thursday evening now. So yeah, I just tramped pretty much outside my last drop last night. That was the last job I did. 10-minute walk to a chippy. So I didn't bother moving around. I just stopped there for the night. Nice quiet area. Got to bed nice and early because I was pretty tired. So I was in bed for 9. This morning I picked up my first job just after 9, even though I've been looking since like 7, but obviously between 7 and 9. It's a bit slow normally anyway. Yeah, and it was 11 miles from where I was, a small village called Small Dole, I think it was, which is a bit of a strange name. But yeah, picking up light fittings. This is a weight and return job, down as a medium wheelbase job. It was weight and return 72 miles, so it's 144 miles and 11 miles away. Medium wheelbase job. So I quoted, as ever, all it said was 100 kilograms, obviously no weight at all. And 19 packages, but it didn't say how big these packages were, so I just quote and I put what my van was, etc. Got the job, based at 75p a mile going through. Maybe I could have gone a bit higher, but for 75p per mile in this van, I'm quite happy with that, and more likely to get it. When I went to pick up, it was just from an industrial unit in an industrial estate. 19 boxes, easy to load a van. To be honest with you, it was a short wheelbase job all the way, load wise. Maybe we'd have got away with a midi van, something like a Vito, quite comfortably as well. And then this is another one where it was 11 miles to pick up, but when I actually put it into Google, 72 miles was going sort of parallel with the south coast to Southampton and up the M3 to the drop off, which I forget where it was now. It might come back to me. Just off the M3, or I could go direct, and it was exactly the same time, 1 hour 40 minutes. But instead of being 72, it was 58, so 14 miles quicker, shorter, and it was a return. So by going, I went that way there and on the way back, shaved off 28 miles, but there was a bit of traffic due to some roadworks both ways, which cost me half an hour, so probably didn't work out in that respect. But yeah, by shaving that 28 miles off, instead of it being 75p a mile, it worked out as, it's like 90, it's over 90 pence a mile, 91 pence a mile, something like that. But with the delay, it meant I didn't get back until and tipped at the return journey at the original pickup until 2. So I had my lunch, bid on a few. It's getting a bit late in the afternoon and I'd only done 113 quid. Bid on a few while I was having lunch, didn't get them, and then the 2 came up, only shortish jobs. So I put like bids out for 40 quid on both. One was a short wheelbase job taking me to sort of like the M25, just south of the M25, which is the job I wanted. But there was another job down to Eastbourne, and the phone rang, and sadly it was the Eastbourne job. I was happy to get a job, but yeah, it's kind of, it rings you hoping it's the one you want if you got several bids out. It wasn't quite the one I wanted. But anyway, they were the first to call me, accept the job. As soon as I hang up, phone rings again. It's the job I would have preferred to do. So to say, sorry, I've literally just accepted another job, but that's how it goes sometimes. You can't turn down a job if you've, you can't turn down a job you bid on. If they're the first person to get back to you, then that's it. Once you said you do it, you'll do it. That's the way I work. Yeah, and that was picking up from a big new industrial unit. I forget the miles exactly. Going to Eastbourne Hospital. Pickup was really easy, but the guy on the phone says you can't just take it to goods in the hospital, you've got to take it to the actual department. I was like, oh, okay, you know what I mean, his hospital's going to be a nightmare parking. So I just went to the goods in area. Luckily it was quite a big area, no vans or vehicles there or any staff members around, so I just parked there with my hazards on and walked into hospital. Found this right department. Wasn't too bad to find, you know, hospital's like absolute maze of corridors normally, and got it delivered, pretty simple. But by that time it was, you know, 4:30 or something, and that was 40 quid for maybe 35 miles, and it was a small van job. Loaded miles, it was only 20 something. I think it was 20 miles loaded, something like that. It was I got it for 40 quid. So yeah, I was a bit surprised to get that one, really. But that puts me on 153 for the day, which is obviously pretty low, really. And even though I was ahead of schedule beginning of the week, I'm now a bit behind. It's 6:30 now. It's not beyond the realms that I might get another job this late, but unlikely. But yeah, hopefully get a good day tomorrow. Got to head home, way too far from home to be driving home empty, so I need to be not in a great position really, but fingers crossed, you never know. See what tomorrow brings. Got to say as well, so it's end of October now. I was in BP garage getting a coffee, and I had bloody Christmas music on already. I think October is a bit early for Christmas music. I'm a meal deal today from Tesco. Fair play to Tesco, they're normally quite good. Turkey and cranberry stuffing. I think it's a bit early for Christmas, but hey ho. Yeah, that was my taking my observation from the day. Way too early for Christmas, I'm sure you'll agree. Right, final on the run update of the week. So yeah, it's just gone 2 o'clock now on the Friday. So I was in Eastbourne, wasn't I? And last night when I was eating me Chinese, boiled rice special this time, a bit healthier. There's loads of jobs pinging up from one shipper, from one postcode, one area, East Grinstead. So I kept bidding on these, must have bid on at least half a dozen. And they were kind of like, not multi-drop, but several drops in a job, quite long jobs. And I wasn't getting most of them, but then I saw one, I bid on it, and it didn't go to somebody else. It was, I thought, I'm obviously under consideration for that one. I ended up getting it. And it was East Grinstead. I was in Eastbourne, so it was about 30 miles away, but it was quite a long job. I think it's like 250 miles or something. Starting in East Grinstead, round the M25 to Welwyn Garden City, one drop there, then one drop in Solihull, Birmingham, and then one stop in Chirk, which is just north of Oswestry, which is where I am now. Yes, I got the job. So last night after I had my Chinese, I just drove up there really steady, tramped around the corner in the industrial estate, was picking up from the shipper's own premises, said pick up between 6 and 7, so I got there at 6, thinking get going as soon as I can, try and beat the M25 traffic, rush hour, be well out that area before rush hour hits. Loaded, and apparently it was there's quite a lot of different boxes for each one, and they were like COVID screens for a travel shop, one of these holiday shops that are reopening on Monday. But the 3 addresses, I thought they'd be going to like the shops, so it's like could be a bit of a pain, you know, because they might be in busy areas. But it's actually quite good because they were going to, I think it was each store manager's home address, so it was all residential addresses and they were all in, so that was quite good. Quite funny guys at the shippers, you know. He's like proper no nonsense kind of guy. I went to the wrong side of the road. He's like, "What are you here for?" It's like, pick up for 2 drops, jerk by a Solihull, and he's like, "You need to be over there." Oh, okay. It's a bit rude almost, but like quite in a funny way. And then his mate's one of these ones. He's like, "Oh, it's fucking hell mate this and fucking hell mate that." It's quite funny. Anyway, got going. 20 minutes to load, out there by 6:25. There was traffic on the M25 just because there was a burnt out low loader Luton style van on the other side. There's bugger all left of it really. The whole box on the back had all burnt away. It's a complete mess. So like the other side of the M25 going anti-clockwise, that was at a standstill. Miles and miles of queues, but because of that I think they might have stopped the traffic on our side at some point, or people were just rubbernecking, so there was a bit of slow traffic there. Cost me 10 minutes, not too bad in the end for the 25. Straight to Whirlwind, easy enough. Up to Solihull, that was easy enough, yeah, and then straight through here to Oswestry. I know the road up here quite well because it's one of the ways I go back to North Wales when I do. I prefer to go the other way now, better drive. Yeah, and got tipped about 12:30, so it's like picked up at 6.5 hour job, about 50 minutes to get there. So it worked out even with the drive from East Grinstead, £25 an hour. So it's including the miles I did, the time I did last night, which was kind of like dead time anyway. It's late in the evening. 187 I priced it at, which was 68 pence a mile straight through from East thing. It was a small van job, but I think it was pushing it for a small van. The amount of stuff was in it, to be honest. But loaded miles, it was 75 pence a mile, but then it was 3 drops, so you should get paid more. Yeah, so it worked out all right. Not the worst part of the world here, even though you're a bit out of the way, because you're not far from Wrexham, not far from Shrewsbury, Telford. Not too far away, really. But that was a while ago. Stopped having my lunch, pretty knackered now, don't know if you can tell. And then I've been sat here cleaning the van. The feed's actually been quite quiet, I thought, because I've set my home area to West Mids again. And for the last Friday of the week, I thought it'd be, you know, pretty constant all day. But yeah, it's not that busy really, to be honest. But I have got a job, but I can't pick it up until 3:30 at the earliest, probably more like 3:45, he says. And 2 from Telford, or Wellington Telford, dropping in Hales Owen. 42 miles, small van job, 40 quid. But I've got a bit of a drive to get there. It's not going to work out great mileage, but it's taking me a lot closer to home, so this is quite a good job to finish on. Yeah, so I've just been cleaning the van, give the windows a bit of a clean inside with these wipes you get, biodegradable wipes. And on the way there now, I'm going to get a van a wash because it's absolutely filthy. Could fill in a bit of time. Get it ready to go next week. So yeah, that's the last on the run for this week. Very unlikely I pick a job up after this, but I will check the feed. So this 40 quid job gets me over my grand for the week takings. So I think I'm just about going to scrape it this week. So I did think I wouldn't make it at one point. So hit target, going to be home about between 5 and 6. So I think a decent mileage rate this week overall, which I've been really trying to focus on this week. But we'll have to see how that comes out in the weekend summary. Right, summary on a Saturday this week. Got my finger out this weekend. So it was week commencing 26th of October. I did 12 jobs this week, all off the CX. No Amazon Flex this week. So these figures, as ever, are just my takings pre-VAT. So VAT would have gone on top. I'm on a flat rate scheme, so I keep a little certain percentage of that. So on the Monday, obviously that is just my takings. So what I say here is pre-costs and pre-tax, definitely not my take-home. There's only things important to say. So Monday, 3 jobs, £47, £35 and 149, which came to 231 for the day. Tuesday, 84, so 3 jobs, 84, 40 and 107, which was 231, £231, exactly the same as Monday. Wednesday, £64 and 104, which was 168 for the day. Thursday, 113 and 40, which was 153 for the day. And then Friday, 187 and £40 to finish the week off. I didn't do any more after that on the Friday. Got home about 6 or just before 6, which is quite nice really. For Friday, that was 227 total for Friday, which is pretty good really for a Friday, because I normally struggle because Monday to Thursday I'm much more flexible because I'm out willing to tramp, whereas Friday was quite good because I started in Eastbourne, which is obviously a long way, maybe 170, 180 miles from where I live in the West Mids. So 2 jobs, and my last job tipped in Hills Owen, which is like not far at all really, probably 10-15 miles, something like that from home. Yeah, so that worked out quite well really, the Friday, happy with that. So the total for the week is £1,010, which works out at £202 a day worked. So that's pretty good. I just scraped my target, which is 200 a day or 1,000 for a 5-day week. That's okay for now, but I mentioned what I probably took home from this a bit, but it's not fantastic. But COVID and stuff, I'm still all the time I'm wondering if it wasn't for COVID. I know it's a bit of a silly thing to say. Everyone's slow, or most people are slower and not doing as well because of COVID, but I do always wonder what would I be taking now if it wasn't for COVID, you know. Yeah, but I'll never know. I've got nothing to compare it to last year because I didn't start till late February. Mileage, 1,388 miles, which is a bit lower than I normally do. I normally do 5 days, about 1,500 miles. So my pence per mile, loaded and unloaded, from leaving on a Monday to getting back on a Friday. I did spend 1 night here, but it was only like 5 hours. I had to go to sleep, to bed, my own bed. Yes, I spent 3 nights in a van and 1 night at home this week, but the 1 night at home was a very short time at home, which actually probably made me more tired. But yeah, pence per mile, 72.8 pence a mile, which is really good. I'm trying to do 68 pence a mile minimum, because with my VAT bonus that works out as 75 pence a mile. So with that it's more like 79 pence a mile, so that's pretty good. But my focus this week, as you'll notice all through this video, is trying to shave off mileage and really look at where Google Maps is sending me. That's been my focus this week, and it's really paid off. So the good things about the week, trying to think now, review the week, what went well, what didn't go so well. So the thing that went well this week was what I just said, my pence per mile. Things that didn't go so well is I got here knackered. I was absolutely knackered by the end of yesterday. I had like an 11-hour kip last night, but slept all the way through at home. Kind of eats into your weekend as well, but I was just, for some reason last week I found it quite hard going. I was quite tired, more tired than I have been by the end of the week, because I think there's a few nights in there where I was only getting like 5-6 hours a night, and it catches up with you. I think I'm drinking too much coffee as well. I'm not sleeping properly. I need to cut down on my coffee. Quieter I've got. I still don't think it's very busy compared to what it was like 4 to 6 weeks ago. Yesterday was the last Friday of the week. And when I was driving up through the Midlands to go to my last drop in Oswald Street, it was pinging up quite a lot, sort of like late morning, early afternoon. Because I can't look at them, but I can hear it, you know. And you get an idea of how busy it is you're driving along. But by sort of mid to late afternoon, wasn't that busy really, because normally on the last Friday, you're kind of hoping people want to get stuff shipped so they can invoice their customers and stuff. But yeah, it didn't really happen, I don't think. And when I think 4 to 6 weeks ago, when I was as 2 consecutive Fridays, I was up in the north west where it was proper busy, and like a driver's market, not a shipper's market. I've not seen any days like that since I went back on post lockdown. And the bad is another bad. There's obviously a lot more regional lockdowns now. I think that might be partly why it's gone quieter. And I think from what I've heard on the news, it's not been officially announced. And the way I was seeing it going, I spend a lot of time listening to the radio and the news, driving around. I think we're destined for another circuit breaker lockdown for 2 or 3 weeks. I think it's if not when. But anyway, just have to wait and see on that one. So yeah, that was my summary for the week. So right, so I've had a few questions, which is fair enough really, because in this summary I'm summarising my takings. People asking kind of like what am I actually earning, what's my take home from that. I didn't want to do it before I'd worked out my van depreciation costs, which I've just released on another video. So I'm pretty confident now of my variable cost, my pence per mile cost. Got a really good idea. I still need to finalise some other things, and I'll do my last variable cost video. Once I have, I'll try and get that done next couple of weeks. So based on this week's earnings, which is just over £1,000, so say I take it as £1,000, with the VAT I get to keep because I'm on a flat rate scheme, that would work out. So I earn £1,010 this week with the VAT I get to keep. I'm not going to go into the details of the flat rate scheme VAT here because it's quite involved. But basically, this week I earn with the VAT that I get to keep £1,100, and I do treat that as earnings because the VAT man, the tax man does. So I have to pay income tax on the VAT proportion I get to keep. So £1,100 is my total takings for the week, if you like, with the flat VAT bonus. If you watch my first costs video, the fixed costs one for a 5-day week, 5 days at £17, it comes to £85. My fixed costs, so my per mile cost, so my variable costs is about 20 pence a mile. So say I did this week 1,400 miles. I did just under, but we'll call it 1,400. I always round up and be conservative. That's £280. So if you take away my fixed costs and my variable costs from my earnings, including the VAT bonus, that's £735 profit. I will then have to pay income tax and national insurance on that. So I reckon it's probably my take home for this week, 5 days tramping, working pretty long hours this week, some days, £550, maybe slightly more, 550 to 580 I'd say, or maybe just say 550 to 600, somewhere in that range, which isn't great for the sacrifices I'm making being away from home and stuff, but I'm somebody who enjoys this. As I keep saying, it's not for everyone. Did have a comment, being a courier and especially tramping, it's more of a way of life than a job, and I totally see that. I'm quite enjoying it at the moment. Still quite enjoy being my own boss. So that I thought I'm not going to do this every week, but this is just in reply to a few questions I've had. So yeah, I just wanted to give a bit of feedback there, because conscious I'm saying I've takings of £1,000, and people might be watching it thinking he's earning £1,000, he's got £1,000 in his pocket at the end of the week. That is definitely not the case. It's, looking at this, it's about half really. Add the VAT bit on top, and then it's half of what my earnings. Yeah. Anyway, that is summary for the week, rambling on a bit. So thanks for watching this week. As ever, any comments or tips or help you've got for me or people who watch this, please add them below. Thanks for watching.